If you have been following my channel, then you probably know that I have talked a lot about the low-tech weapons in GURPS, but I haven't talked about armor at all, and this is a topic that many GURPS players like to argue about. So it's time to tackle this subject. Armor in GURPS can be very detailed, but it's also intuitive. First of all, armor in GURPS is not separated into abstract weight classes, light, medium and heavy, and there are no skills or proficiencies related to wearing armor. Second, you will probably have to buy your armor in pieces, not a whole suit, because hit locations, while optional, are commonly used in GURPS games. Third, armor in GURPS reduces incoming damage, it doesn't make it harder to hit you. Where can you find low-tech armor statistics? The first place to check would be, of course, GURPS Basic Set, but what it has there are a variety of pre-made examples that might be lacking for many players and GMs. There is no customization there. GURPS Low-Tech provides all of that. There are 33 armor materials there. This is much better than just leather, chainmail and plate. And those are only basic materials, they can be modified, so there are actually many more. With that amount of options available, I can say that I have never seen such a detailed armor creation system in any other RPG system. And yes, I mean armor creation, because you cannot really just pick something from the table in GURPS Low-Tech and put it on your character sheet. Fortunately, there is GURPS Low-Tech Instant Armor, a small book that has many tables filled with pre-made examples that you can simply put on your character sheet. What I don't like about that book is that in some places it acts as a errata for GURPS Low-Tech, which is not nice. Errata should be errata, not something that you pay for. Also, I should mention that armor in GURPS Basic Set and armor in GURPS Low-Tech are different. You should not combine them. Use either one or another. I should also mention another book, GURPS Loadouts Low-Tech Armor. This one provides armor packages for certain historical soldiers. It's neat. Let's make a piece of armor using GURPS Low-Tech, just as an example. Let's make a chainmail shirt with short sleeves. Take a look at the table on page 100. What locations do we want to protect? That would be torso, that's 100%, plus shoulders, that's 10%, and upper arms, another 10%. That's 120% total. Now wait a minute, what the hell are shoulders and upper arms? There are no such hit locations in GURPS. But even though you cannot target them deliberately, there are rules for partial limb armor under the table. So what's next? Scroll down to pages 110 and 111 and pick a material from the table. I pick Mail Light. It provides DR3 with an asterisk, costs 500, weighs 12 pounds and takes 15 seconds to don. Remember the 120%? We multiply everything except the DR by this percentage. So our light mail shirt will provide DR3 with an asterisk, cost $600, weigh 14.4 pounds and take 18 seconds to don. Now, what does the 5 in brackets mean? It means that the mail shirt provides -2 DR against crushing. What does the asterisk mean? In GURPS, armor is separated into two categories, rigid and flexible. The asterisk marks flexible armor. Thus, it is subject to blunt trauma, but is easier to conceal and can be layered with other flexible or rigid armor for extra protection. You might also hear that flexible armor does not have targetable chinks and other weak spots, but that's actually not completely true. While for the most part it is true, the Ultra Tech Armor Design article from Pyramid 396 has introduced the optimized fabric armor construction type that is both flexible and has chinks and armor gaps. And you can use it for low-tech armor. Speaking of armor design, if you find rules from GURPS Low-Tech limiting, you can use Low-Tech Armor Design article from Pyramid 352, but keep in mind that it's also compatible with high-tech and ultra-tech counterparts from other pyramids. The system isn't actually complex, but it allows even more customization for your armor, which is great. Now that armor design is out of the way, let's talk about the effectiveness of armor. One of the most common criticisms of armor in GURPS is that it is too weak. Even if you have, for example, medium plate armor with DR6, a decently strong character will easily penetrate it with a sword swing, and an ogre with a huge axe won't even notice it. And you know what? That's true. But I think that this situation is similar to the complaints about powers being too weak compared to vanilla magic as skills. The complaint should be inverted. No, it's not the powers that are weak and expensive, it's vanilla magic that is too strong and cheap. And no, it's not the armor that is weak, it is that swing base damage that is way too high. However, there are some fixes for that. First, on page 102, GURPS Low-Tech has rules for blunt trauma and edged weapons. Basically, if you roll cutting damage and fail to penetrate twice the armor's DR, then your damage type becomes crushing instead of cutting. This is a very good rule, but it's not really enough. What I'd like to suggest is using an alternative ST-based damage table from the No School Grognard blog, colloquially known as reduced swing damage. It rebalances swing damage and makes strength cheaper. As a side effect, it makes more weapons useful, as thrusting weapons are not very attractive in GURPS by default, but it also makes armor actually matter. I have been using the system a lot and I have never looked back. There are many upsides, and the only downside is that you might have to recalculate the point costs of racial templates that adjust strength, and that most of the pre-made weapon-wielding monsters would need damage adjustments. Overall, this is a 10 out of 10 rule that is quite popular in GURPS community, and for a good reason. The final part that I want to address in this video is that even though all this might seem daunting, it really isn't. GCS supports this reduced swing damage system, and it also has libraries for low-tech armor that allow quick and easy armor creation for your character, so have fun with it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time when I will delve into some more esoteric armor rules.